Heart Infinity of Live on IH. I'm Marlena. Okay, am I getting this damn stent? That remains to be seen. So I had the cerebral angiogram on May 29th. I was indeed a candidate. I have stenosis of the vein on both my right and my left side. The surgeon said he was going to stent both sides. Now, I have a nickel allergy. Someone in the Facebook groups are like, hey, if you have a nickel allergy, speak up and get allergy tested. I've had a nickel allergy for forever. I went and got tested at the allergist, and it confirmed that I am allergic to both nickel and cobalt. Now, that is kind of controversial because some people are like, it doesn't matter because you won't have a reaction, because nickel allergies are dermal meaning skin. Some people are like, do it, it doesn't hurt. Now, I am allergic to a lot of things. I also have some autoimmune stuff going on. So the question is it going to be worth it? The literature says most people with nickel allergies, they can get stents and they won't have an adverse reaction. But how is an adverse reaction defined in the literature? Also, what are these studies saying? These studies are typically small cases being less than 30 people, and they're being followed for either like 1.8 weeks to up to 2 years. And an adverse reaction is being defined as either death or a stroke. So you can have a stent and you won't die and you won't have a stroke. Fantastic. But my surgeon did let me know that because of my allergy, there is a chance, and he said it was low, like 3 to 8% chance of restenosis. Restenosis is when your vein, so the whole point of getting a stent is the veins in your brain are like this, right? Because the fluid is not flowing. You put the stent in and it gets back open. And so when you put the stent in, your brain grows around it. But because of the allergy, the inflammation would cause it to close again. And it would typically close like right about it. And so you could end up needing another one next to it or another one like further down. And so what could happen is I would need an additional stent, or he would need to open up the other side. And he said there's a higher chance of me needing that because of the nickel allergy. And so from the literature that I was looking at, like that's in the literature. It's also in the literature that a lot of people, that they can have hives, they can end up developing autoimmune things such as POTS, such as MCAS. I also noticed that anecdotally in like the Facebook groups, that people have those reactions. People say that their stent failed or it didn't work, or they'll notice things such as simple as like itchiness at the site, and you can't scratch the inside of your brain. Also, once you get a stent, you can't have it taken out easily. Like you can have it taken out, but that is an invasive brain surgery. So the question becomes, what do? You get a non-nickel stent. What stents don't have nickel? I thought it was as simple as nitinol. Then I did the research. Nitinol is nickel. So most stents are made of what is called nitinol. Nitinol is nickel wrapped in titanium of varying amounts. Most manufacturers, it ranges from 45 to 65% of nickel. And the question becomes, how much nickel leaches out into your bloodstream? That is the question. So there is also a stent. It's called a wall stent by Boston Scientific. It's made of Eljoy. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It had the least amount of nickel, 14% of nickel. But according to my surgeon, the problem is even though it has the least amount of nickel, that had the highest amount of nickel that leaches out into your bloodstream. Meaning you would have the worst reaction on it. Okay, so then went back to the drawing board, found another stent that is cobalt chromium, because cobalt chromium is used as a major alternative for people that have nickel allergies. And I'm thinking, okay, cool, I'm allergic to cobalt. I'm not allergic to cobalt chromium. Messaged my allergist, and she was like, girl, yeah, cobalt chromium is cobalt. So, can't get any of those. I had already gone and researched what was happening in Europe, because Europe is the only place where they are making non-nickel stents. There is one company over in Europe. It is called Miko. It is a manufacturing company. And how they work is you would send them a stent that is already made, and they pretty much manufacture it. Like, I don't know if it's like a 3D printer or some shit, and it's called a vasculoid. Now, issue with that my surgeon and I are running into, they are not FDA approved. They now have operations in the United States. I think they just opened up like a Minnesota plant, I want to say April or sometime. So like recently. But what are they manufacturing in the United States? Nitinol. So everyone in the United States is making stents made out of nickel. I don't know if what it is with big nickel, probably capitalism. Like, let's be real here. So the issue has now become, for me, I have so many allergies and I have so many issues. What do I do with this? What we could do, if you get it, we could put you on antihistamines if you end up just having a rash. Because some people, they get the nickel stent and they have something as simple as a rash. And she said, we could put you on antihistamines if that is your reaction, if you have a rash or hives. Spoiler alert, I already have chronic hives. So, don't know if I want to do that. She said, or we could put you on an immunosuppressant and a, what is that word? A steroid to counteract the immunosuppressant. Folks, I'm already on an immunosuppressant thanks to having hidradenitis suppurativa, and also I'm in the middle of trying to determine whether or not I have rheumatoid arthritis or lupus. So, don't think I want that. Also, I'm allergic to a lot of different things. I've always been allergic to a lot of different things. Like, I'm allergic to the fucking sun. Like, I'm black and allergic to the sun. How does that work? So, due to my history of allergies and sensitivities and all these things, I'm not sure if it is worthwhile for me to implant something into my brain that I have a known allergy to, and if the risk is worth the reward. My surgeon, he already was hesitant because he said he wasn't sure if this would even work for all of the symptoms. He thinks this really might just relieve the tinnitus, and it's not going to relieve the head pressure and pain. So to me, the question now becomes, what do we do? So I have an appointment with a different neurosurgeon to get a second opinion, because I want to talk to him and see if there's a corner of the internet and the universe and research that he might have some insight on that I haven't figured out. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe he, he's a neurosurgeon, I'm not. But also meeting with my neurologist, neuro-ophthalmologist, talk about different medication management, see if there's a different combination of stuff, because I'm not about to be miserable for the rest of my life. I'm only 33. I'm not doing this shit. And what I mean by doing this shit is I'm not about to claim that I'm going to be miserable for the rest of my life. Like, if I have to learn to live with this, I'm going to navigate how to live with this and how to get on with my life. Because, like, yes, this sucks, but we move. We figure it out. It's on to the next steps. And so now we figure out what are the next steps, because once you're diagnosed with this, they pretty much only give you a handful of options. So now I'm on to the next phase of research, and what are our options? There are only so many. So I guess we just figure out the next steps.